Hello everyone, it's Leo, and it's time to talk about the fifth episode from Princess Session Orchestra, Princess Meteor's debut. And I know I'm a little late, I am so sorry, but I am getting back on my groove. And it's finally time to talk about our green or yellow princess. Oh my god, I love the debate, but it is time to talk about Nagase's transformation into Princess Meteor. And I feel like this was an episode that I didn't really feel much. I am a little on the fence on my opinion on this episode, but let's talk about it. So, we start the episode with Nagase sulking, and we are able to meet her two cats and her cat suit as well. Oh my god, that was so cute. But we get to see and understand a little bit more on Nagase's feelings. So, Nagase is a streamer. She likes to go to Alicipia to stream, and she also performs and sings. But after seeing the princesses in episode 4, she feels like her radiance, her brilliance is not real. The real thing is the princesses' brilliance. And so she feels like she is not worthy. She feels like everything she does is not good enough because she has no real sparkle. And we get to see Minamo and Kagari on school next day. They're wondering how Nagase is doing because they've seen what happened to her last episode last time, and the time passage here is a bit weird. I don't know how much time has passed between episode 4 and episode 5 because the girls say that other girls are saying that it's been a while since Nagase has been to Alicipia to stream. She hasn't been streaming lately. So I feel like it has passed a few days and they haven't spoken to Nagase. And the way they say it is weird because it feels like Nagase has disappeared, but she is right there at school with them. And they go talk to her after class. And Nagase says the same thing that we already know that she is feeling. And there was a very weird scene while they were dialoguing with her and Nagase started talking about the princesses. Both of them, Minamo and Kagari, they look at each other and they say something like, oh my god, did she discover our identity? And, she didn't. But the fact that they were talking to each other in front of Nagase, like without really worrying about it or anything. And Nagase wasn't really paying attention. Nagase didn't notice anything. But they didn't really try to hide it. I don't know. That felt very weird. And even though like they were speaking a little lower, but they were talking right in front of her. It felt so weird. But that scene was to show how Nagase was feeling about everything. And I feel like this episode made it a little clearer onto how the memory loss works. Because we've heard about it, we learned about it in episode 4, and now we get this concept back. And I like how they did not really have to explain it, but rather show it to us. We saw it kind of like 2 times in this episode, and that made it clear because that was a concept that was kind of in place since the first episode, but we did not know about it. So we did not know we had to pay attention to those things, or they didn't even show it. And now I feel like the way they are showing it is good because they're not throwing it on our faces, but with little actions we can understand what the villains are doing, even if we don't see what the villains are doing. And the girls tell Nagase how Nagase has a talent and she is good at what she does, but she does not believe it. She is at a moment of her life that she does not believe in her true talent. She doesn't believe she has anything good to offer. Because, and I feel like that is an interesting thing because when you see a shining star or a star that shines way too bright and you are trying to look at yourself in comparison, you might get your self-esteem balanced. Your self-esteem will be shattered when you're trying to compare yourself to someone who does more or less the same thing that you do, but in a way stronger and more powerful way. This hurts your self-esteem. This happens. And I feel like the way they are dealing with Nagase could have been a little better because I feel like we could understand Nagase a bit more if we spent a little bit more time with her. Like, I feel like in those 2 episodes they focused on her. We didn't really spend much time in Nagase's point of view, in terms of her streaming, in terms of her path as a streamer, as a performer. We see it more on the eyes of other characters. And that is one perspective I feel like kind of is missed here. Nagase brings the energy, but I wish we could see a little bit more on how she sees herself and why was she not seeing the worth in herself. Even though I do understand, as I said before, I do understand, but I wish we had more of Nagase herself and a little bit more on her path and journey for us to understand her even better. And then we get to a scene of the villains that for the first time we see the villains bickering and, going after each other a little bit. And I think that's the first time it happened. And I feel like it was such a shift in attitude that I found a little weird. At the same time that I kind of like it because I feel like it gives them a bigger personality. I still don't know who is who. I know that the one who's attacking right now is Drum, but I don't know. It's Bass and the other I'm not sure. So I'm going to reference them by how they look. The one that wears glasses is kind of like the more neutral one. It doesn't matter for him who is attacking. It doesn't matter who is doing the work. What matters to him is that they capture musicians. The one that has greenish hair, Cure Lillian, green hair, he wants to attack. He wants to be the one. He wants to have a little bit more of attention. And Drum feels a little bit more on the same vibe with a less childish persona. And he feels a little tougher than the other two. And Drum is the one who goes to attack in this episode. And so when we get to Alicipia, we have the girl who is a huge fan of Nagase, and she is there where Nagase streams. And Nagase meets her, and she is wondering what is going on. Why isn't Nagase performing? Why is the stage so empty? And she meets Nagase. Nagase in this episode, she just showed the side of her that was doubting herself. Like, we did not see the super Genki and super energetic Nagase. And at that moment, Drum appeared and attacked. And what Drum said first is that he was going to capture the musicians of both girls. And it's another indication, like when the purple-haired girl sees Drum and she's like, what is he doing here? Isn't this Alicipia? Only girls should be allowed here. And he's a guy, he's there. And he attacks. But it's like, at first he said that he was going to attack both. But Nagase protects the purple girl. Not enough, obviously, because Nagase is just a regular girl too. She was not able to protect her like enough, and her musicians was stolen. I don't understand why Nagase's musicians was not stolen here, since he said that he was going to attack both of them, and he was using the opportunity to get more musicians because, they need the musicians. For what the villains are saying, they really need this energy from the girls. We do not know why, but I feel like it's a necessity for them. As Drum said, comparing it to regular humans, we humans have to eat and they need musicians. So it's like survival. But, we don't really know. We're just going by the comparison. He does not steal the musicians from Nagase this time around. Since it's her episode, she is saved. She is safe. And I'm like, why? Is it just because she needs to transform? That was so convenient. And then the girls, like Navi, is the one who notices that the attack is happening, and the girls go in, they transform, and they get to action. This time around in the transformation, we have Zeal's song, so it's nice they're changing things around. And they go in, they start fighting. And for them, it's a simple fight. It's like something regular. And it's nice. I mean, in concept, it's nice. I don't know if I like the execution. But when we see Zeal fighting, we see her singing and performing her song. And when we see Ripple, it's Ripple's song. And the songs, like, they change. And we first hear Zeal's song, and then we hear Ripple's song. Like, the change is very fast. But then Drum finally decides to jump into battle. While this is all happening, we see Nagase watching everything. But this time she watches everything as Nagaz, because she was in the previous episode, she was Nagaz, but her muse essence was stolen. And because of her muse essence being stolen, she was like kind of like a zombie watching what was going on. In this episode, it was regular Nagaz. And so when Drum started fighting against the girls, oh my God. Okay, so first of all, let me just say I love that scene because, oh my God, it was so cool. The way Drum fights, it's incredible. And how cruel he was in his attacks. Like not really judging the character, but judging like the team who choreographed this fight, it was really nice because they did not hold back. It's like, okay, it's a girls' show, but they did not hold back in terms of how the villain can beat the girls. It was kind of like cruel the way he was hitting, like the power that he had over them. It was very nice and like dangerous at the same time. It was like, oh my God, this is really happening. They're going really hard in the battle. And that was so cool. And I feel like that created such a big power imbalance. Like, okay, those girls, as they are now, are not able to fight a villain. And it was like Ripple and Zeal. He could beat the two of them easily. And one other interesting aspect about it is that since they were getting beaten, they were not able to sing. And by not being able to sing, they were not being able to produce more muse essence to fight. So they couldn't do anything. I like this concept. It makes it harder for the magical girls here. They really need to step up. They need to be able to keep on singing while battling. They don't have only to be very strong physically. They have to keep on singing. So it adds another layer to the battles. It's cool. And then the only one who could do something was Nagaz. And Nagaz was protecting the purple-haired girl that I don't remember the name. And Navi started talking to her like, you need to do something. You need to transfer. And she was like emitting this glow, this yellow glow. And Navi was like, you need to transform. Believe in yourself and you need to transform. And here is when I feel like the episode was able to give a little bit more on Nagaze's insight. And it was the same thing. Basically, whenever you see someone shining way stronger than you, you start to doubt your own brilliance. And as I said before, I like this idea because I feel like it really compares to real life. When you're trying to do something, when you see someone that is doing what you want to do, and you look at that person and you think, wow, that person is so powerful. That person is so unstoppable in what they are doing. And I'm not like that. I'm not good as that person. That mines your confidence, and that makes you believe that you don't have enough self-worth. Your self-esteem goes very low. And I agree. I understand Nagaze's feeling. The one thing I find a little weird is that the princesses, they are not performers like her. Her being a streamer and a performer while streaming, it's a different thing. But I will give it to her. She's young. She is a teenager, and, she is not that popular of a streamer. She is, starting up her journey. And I can understand that. Me, as an adult, I can understand the difference, but in her mind, it might not be that different at all. But Zeal is the one who stands up and says, girl, wake up. Your brilliance might not even be real, as you're saying. You're saying that the brilliance of the princesses is the real thing. But your fake brilliance, as you call it, is making people become fans, is making people love your work. And finally, it has dawned on Nagaze that the purple-haired girl that has been with her in episode 4 and now in episode 5 again, she was conquered by her brilliance. She was conquered by her talent and what she has been doing on stage as a streamer. And Nagaze has finally noticed this brilliance that I have, it might be fake, but it is making people like it. It is making people happy. So it doesn't matter if it's as shiny as a real princess or if it's a fake one as mine. What matters is that this brilliance is making people happy. And it finally dawned on her that she has her self-worth and she has to value that. And because of that, she was able to emit more power and become Princess Meteor. What I found really weird here is how Drum was a spectator. He was fighting so hard against them, and then he just stopped to watch it all unfold in front of him. Like, why? Both of the characters, both Ripple and Zeal, were able to talk to Nagaz, and nothing happened. Like, he didn't do anything. That was so weird. And after she became Princess Meteor, I found that there's this thing that usually in magical girl shows, whenever a girl becomes a magical girl for the first time, she is super strong and she is unstoppable. And I feel like that's kind of what happened in this episode, because we have Princess Ripple and Princess Eel, who are princesses for a while. They were not able to withstand anything against Drum. And Meteor, who just became Meteor, was able to fight in the same footing, equal footing with Drum. What? That was weird, but at the same time, I understand. It's a staple in magical girls, kind of. And also because Nagaz was able to find her brilliance. She was able to really understand that her muse essence is valuable. And she became Princess Meteor. She fought. But there is one thing that I did not connect with, and that was Meteor's song. I heard it before and I enjoyed it, but I don't know why in this episode it did not work. During battle and the way she sings while she's battling, I don't like it. I don't like her song. And I really like the way she battled. Like, she punched, she kicked. It was very cool. But I didn't really enjoy the song. And another thing that I didn't really love is the fact that when she was battling, she was captured by the monster, and Ripple and Zeal did nothing. Absolutely nothing to help her. And okay, it was her moment to shine. But it did not make sense to me. They were not that bitten. They were not that weak. And I don't know, it just felt weird. Like, they were just watching, and the monster captured her and electrified her, and the girls were like, let her do her thing. I'm tired. I can't fight anymore. Hold me. What? But she was able to withstand that power and become stronger and defeat the monster on her own. And not only the monster, her attack was able to hit Drum. Like, she was super strong. And I feel like if we're gonna make a direct analysis, Meteor is by far stronger than the other two, judging by this episode. Her attack, it seems at least way stronger than the other two. The way she was fighting is like miles stronger. So it feels like this episode it's kind of giving us the wrong idea, because I'm pretty sure they're going to be on equal footing, but it wasn't. In this episode, it really wasn't. Meteor felt way stronger than the others, but everything was fine. The monster was defeated, and the purple-haired girl, I forgot to mention this before, is another moment that we are able to understand the fact that the villains, they steal the memory, and the girls that are victims, they don't really know what happened to them. They just wake up somewhere and they don't know how they got there. They don't know what happened to them. So we see this with the purple-haired girl to make it clearer for us, this concept of stealing the memories of the girls so that they don't really know what's going on. And that makes sense for the villains. And after the battle, Princess Meteor is able to watch the girl from afar. She is fine. And then she de-transforms. She is confused. And it's clear that they're going for yellow as her color. She feels really green, but her effects are all yellow. And then she sees the other two girls, and she sees that both of them de-transform and become Minamo and Kagari. And she is a little shocked that both of them are the other princesses. I was waiting for a bigger reaction, especially coming from Nagaz. And it's very nice that after that they connect with each other, and you know, since they're gonna work together as princesses now, They call each other their direct names. And she even calls them Pai-sen, which is the reverse of senpai, since they're both older than her. But, she is, she is not someone who will call them senpai because she's not that polite. She's not that correct. She's not that perfect. So, she will change things up a little bit because she is the chaos among the trio. I just wish she were a little bit more chaotic than she was in this episode. I was waiting for that. And at the end, she is able to do a stream and perform Nagaze's song this time around. And it's another song I don't like. Oh my God. And now I'm confused because I thought that she was going to be my favorite, but I don't know. I'm still between her and Zeal. I'm still between both of them. I didn't really feel this episode, even though it had moments that I really enjoyed. But I didn't really feel this episode, so I'm still going to wait to understand Nagaze's character a little bit more to see where I land on who my favorite from Princess Session is. But episode 5 from Princess Session, I feel like wasn't that great of an introduction to Meteor. But I think that at least when it comes to the concepts of the show, they're falling, like the pieces are like falling into place and we can understand the show as a whole a bit better. And I feel like step by step, they are constructing something cool with Princess Session. And I'm curious, very curious for more. And now that we have the complete trio, I'm very curious for the dynamic. I'm very curious on how things are going to work from now on. I'm excited for more. I'm excited for more Princess Session. How did you feel about Meteor's debut in the show? Please leave a comment. Let's keep talking about it. I hope you felt I hope you had a better impression than I did in this episode. If you did, please leave a comment. Who is your favorite? Do you have a favorite so far? Please tell me in the comments as well. Anyways, AVs, this is it for now. I want to take this little time to thank the members of the Magical Cinnamon channel. If you're a member, thank you very much for your support. And if you've watched up to now, thank you so much as well. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, bye-bye.